Imagine this. You're sailing across the vast, unforgiving ocean, confronting colossal waves that crash like liquid monsters, and battling extreme weather that furiously slams into your ship, threatening to engulf everything in its path. On these immense vessels, hundreds if not thousands of sailors face constant peril, and that's not even counting the 60 to 90 aircraft typically parked on a Navy carrier. A collection alone potentially worth over $10 billion. This is the harsh reality for all U.S. Navy ships in the open ocean, as they navigate violent storms, unpredictable typhoons, and deadly hurricanes that can appear unannounced on the horizon. So, how do these ships manage to weather such immense tempests, facing down literal waves of monsters? It goes without saying that life in the middle of the vast ocean is perpetually at risk. The actual sea conditions are drastically different from the safe, predictable harbor environments we're accustomed to when maneuvering ships. These perilous conditions are just one of several factors that make service even more dangerous for U.S. Navy sailors who are often on demanding missions lasting months. And as we know, wind is the primary driving force behind weather at sea. It generates powerful ocean currents, which in turn dictate just how violent the weather can become. Roughly speaking, ships are designed to cope with high-speed winds that can exceed 60 knots, nearly 70 miles per hour, and waves that can reach astonishing heights of up to 300 feet during hurricanes and typhoons, easily high enough to engulf an entire ship. It's a terrifying prospect, right? As might be expected, these gigantic waves exert considerable forces on the structure of U.S. Navy ships, which can severely affect their maneuverability, making it incredibly difficult to maintain a steady course. This inevitably increases the risk of capsizing. In addition, the safety of thousands of crew members is constantly at risk. An unstable ship can cause heavy equipment and machinery on board to shift violently, leading to severe injury for the crew and extensive damage to the ship itself. It's noteworthy that approximately 50,000 U.S. Navy sailors are stationed around the world every day, serving aboard about 100 ships. This highlights just how critical it is to ensure their safety. While the U.S. Navy has implemented some of the most robust measures to prevent accidents, sometimes, though rarely, the sheer power of Mother Nature proves overwhelming. One such tragic incident occurred on October 1, 2015, when the container ship SS El Faro was lost at sea, with its entire crew of 33 after sailing into the eye of Hurricane Joaquin. Despite an extensive search and rescue operation, no crew members were found alive, and the ship was never recovered. Fortunately, since tragic incidents like the loss of El Faro, the Navy has drastically improved ship safety through stricter protocols, advanced engineering, and cutting-edge designs. But will these advancements be enough when the next great storm inevitably appears? Engineering and design. The science of survival. Before we delve into the incredible engineering technologies and advanced design features that help these ships weather the harshest conditions, let me ask you one question. Have you ever tried balancing a pencil on your fingertips? Now imagine trying that while riding a roller coaster. This offers a glimpse into the complex physics and engineering at play that keeps Navy ships afloat through the churning seas. Let's explore the critical elements that prevent U.S. Navy ships from capsizing. According to a basic scientific principle, objects float when they have a lower average density than water. Likewise, ships float because their overall density is less than that of the water they displace. Consequently, the downward force of gravity acting on the ship is less than the upward buoyant force exerted by the water. Another crucial point to note is that the lower the center of gravity, the less likely an object is to tip over. Therefore, all U.S. Navy ships maintain a critically low center of gravity by strategically placing heavy equipment, tools, and fuel at the lowest levels of the ship. In fact, the precise placement of all equipment and the installation of new machinery are meticulously calculated by onboard engineers, with ship stability as a paramount consideration. The next major player is hull structure and design. The massive U-shape of a ship's hull is specifically engineered to provide exceptional stability, resisting drag, tilt, and rolling even through the roughest seas. However, larger U.S. Navy ships, such as colossal aircraft carriers, employ a V-shaped hull that allows them to ride over large waves, unlike smaller vessels, which are heavily impacted by wave height. Additionally, U.S. Navy aircraft carriers, to be more specific, rely on various other sophisticated techniques such as the ballast system to help them maintain balance. This system works much like the scales in Lady Justice's hands. The crew can effectively raise or lower the ship's center of gravity, thereby controlling buoyancy and ensuring its stability. Advanced technology, fighting the role beyond these fundamental designs and systems. The U.S. Navy has also incorporated several truly advanced technologies into its ships to ensure their safety in harsh weather. At the top of this list is the fin stabilizer, often dubbed the fighter jet at sea. Most modern ships now utilize these adjustable wings, which function similarly to the ailerons on an airplane. On U.S. Navy ships, stabilizer fins are absolutely critical for maintaining stability in rough seas and maximizing the effectiveness of complex weapon systems. As the Navy conducts long-lasting missions at sea while carrying out precision strikes, stabilizer fins have become an operational necessity. They actively neutralize roll motion, allowing ships to stabilize their platforms even in severe weather. Without stabilizer fins, it would be nearly impossible to execute long-range missile attacks and bomb attacks in unsettled seas. Fin stabilizers transform a potentially unstable vessel into a warship capable of maintaining accuracy and coordination in challenging sea conditions. They are a vital technology that helps the Navy adhere to its core mission of safeguarding the freedom of the seas around the world. Gyroscopic stabilizers are another prime example of groundbreaking advances in marine engineering. They operate on a principle similar to bicycle wheels. As long as the wheel is rotating, the bicycle will remain upright. Likewise, a gyroscopic stabilizer consists of an enclosed vacuum sphere containing a massive flywheel, meticulously designed to rotate at an incredibly high speed of around 10,700 RPM. This rapid flywheel rotation generates angular momentum, which in turn produces torque. This torque essentially pushes and pulls the ship, actively working to keep it as level as possible. The fascinating aspect is that these systems can be operated via a sophisticated computer-controlled interface. It constantly adjusts the gyro's attitude or tilt, allowing it to provide full torque in a wide variety of marine conditions. Furthermore, to significantly reduce the damage from a potential capsizing event, self-righting vessels are being developed. More and more. Yes, that's right. Ships that can upright themselves after capsizing. Technology like this could prove invaluable to the U.S. Navy, enabling small vessels such as inflatable boats or rigid inflatable boats, RIBs, to quickly return to service after a sudden capsize in rough seas. Self-righting vehicles often feature a weighted keel, lower ballast tanks, or an inclined hull, all of which provide a powerful return moment once the ship passes a certain angle of heel. Upon detecting a capsizing event, onboard computers can immediately activate pumps to efficiently move water between tanks, providing crucial assistance to the natural righting process. Maintenance and inspection, the unsung heroes. With all of these advanced systems in place, maintaining and inspecting them regularly is a top priority for U.S. Navy crews. As expected, warships must remain operational 24/7 to carry out all their functions with a high degree of perfection. Therefore, proper ship maintenance is paramount to identify and proactively address problems that could potentially become hazardous in the future. This demanding task requires a highly skilled and dedicated team of seafarers and engineers to perform continuous tasks, such as cleaning, painting, repairing, and upgrading the ship's systems. These maintenance tasks broadly fall into two main categories: preventive maintenance and corrective maintenance. Preventive maintenance is about always being one step ahead of potential problems. This is also widely known as a planned maintenance system. Machine lubrication, fluid level correction, functional tests, performing meticulous visual inspections, and conducting precise vibration measurements are some of the foundational elements of preventive maintenance. In short, preventive maintenance rigorously ensures that every nut and bolt is correctly in place and performing optimally. On the other hand, corrective maintenance is specifically employed when a ship experiences an actual failure, dysfunction, or damage. It essentially covers the repair and restoration of equipment on board. Bear in mind that ships are undoubtedly expensive to operate, but their costs can skyrocket if there is an equipment breakdown at sea that necessitates emergency repairs. Therefore, preventive maintenance helps keep operating costs under control, while significantly reducing the risk of equipment damage that could lead to a catastrophic capsizing event. Strategic avoidance. The role of weather forecasting. Speaking of surprises, the U.S. Navy works relentlessly to avoid encounters with harsh weather conditions, meticulously staying away from routes that could be affected by hurricanes or typhoons. It's no surprise that the weather at sea can be incredibly unpredictable, which is why accurate forecasting is so immensely important during maritime operations. Advanced weather forecasting systems and real-time monitoring capabilities help U.S. Navy crews plan safe routes and effectively deal with severe weather conditions. Let's take a brief look at the U.S. Navy's sophisticated and complex weather forecasting systems that enable their ships to navigate the rough seas safely. When we talk about tracking weather conditions across the vast oceans, satellites play an absolutely crucial role. There are specialized meteorological and weather tracking satellites that orbit around Earth's poles. They are responsible for gathering a wealth of information on clouds, air and water temperatures, ocean currents, dust storms, and ice coverage. This comprehensive data enables U.S. Navy crews to monitor weather patterns over incredibly wide areas. The weather buoy is the most common type of forecasting tool utilized by the U.S. Navy. Currently, there are more than 1,000 buoys strategically deployed around the world, which greatly assist the Navy in planning their intricate routes on the high seas. These buoys can precisely measure wind speed, wave height, atmospheric pressure, and air and sea temperature. The collected data can then be used to determine the formation or dissolution of typhoons, the extent of wind circulation, and the exact location of a storm's center. In addition, the U.S. Navy is equipped with powerful environmental models such as the Joint Typhoon Warning Center and WaveWatch 3. These sophisticated models integrate data from satellites, buoys, land-based weather stations, and other sources to create an exceptionally accurate representation of the marine environment. Furthermore, in addition to these external sources, all U.S. Navy ships are equipped with a variety of onboard weather forecasting tools, including an anemometer to measure wind speed, a barometer to measure atmospheric pressure, and a weather radar to detect storms and precipitation. Based on these highly predictable weather forecasts, the U.S. Navy's advanced navigation systems allow ships to optimize their routes. Vessels can plan alternative routes to actively avoid areas with high waves, strong currents, or severe weather, all of which could cause the ship to become unstable or even lead to it capsizing. Don't forget that it's not just about avoiding waves. The Navy's navigation system also allows ships to calculate optimal speed and course to minimize the adverse effects of rough seas. Finally, we want to thank you for your concern. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos about the U.S. Navy and its operations. Click the bell icon to keep getting the latest content updates from us. See you next time.